What's going on, everybody? It's your boy FRE, $H Fresh at the Flyboy Way, dash THEFLYBOYWAY. Don't ask why, just check out the channel. Let me turn the fan down for a second, y'all. I feel as though this is a special moment, so I want to make sure I start this 2026 review of Cartagena, Colombia off right by sharing the screen me along this journey. Feeling proud at my YouTube channel. The Black Man's Guide to Cartagena, July 1st, 2023. I hit 1 million subscribers around that time. Let's see what happened. Click the video. This video has been removed for violating YouTube's community guidelines. There's some things in this world we can control. There's some things we can't control. Whether we choose to get mad, retaliate, argue, or push forward, it's all on you. I decided to push forward. I decided to dig deeper and find out why, or give me some kind of explanation. So I talked to people within YouTube. I talked to my liaison. I talked to my partner manager. Didn't get the answers I wanted to get. So rather than holding a grudge, rather than fighting back by posting more of the exact same thing, I made all of my guides that were similar into the membership to give it some kind of wall so that people can say, hey, at least he gave it a wall. Let's not bother him. And it worked. But I didn't want to just put everything behind a paywall. So I created more guides. I redid the guides over again. And I cut off the part that I think was causing the issue with the YouTube community guidelines. I got to speak to more people behind YouTube scenes. I got invited to places all over America when YouTube had its 20th year anniversary celebration. Talking about, I've been at YouTube events in LA. I've been Rhode Island, New Jersey, New York, Chicago, Indianapolis, Providence, Rhode Island. Like, just a lot of different places I got invited. I got more into detail of what to do. So I still kept putting out guides. But this one thing right here, this one guide, it kept hitting my heart like, damn. Now I know I don't want to post that guide again and just cut off the part, because if I do that, they may take it as a disrespect. Say, hey, bro, we gave you a warning. You didn't get a strike for it. We just took it off. And we started inviting you to all our events. And what do you do in return? You repost the same guide and cut it off. Come on, man. That how you think you're gonna feel about that? So I said, I wouldn't do that. So I decided to go to Cali, Colombia, as I do every year. And unfortunately, 2 days before I went to Petronio Alvarez Music Festival in Cali, Colombia, there was an earthquake. And because of the earthquake, I had to alter the plans that I had last minute. So I cut my trip short in Cali. Of course, I still went because I wanted to support the people. I brought goods, my own clothes, my own sneakers. I brought goods from Home Depot, like $100-something worth of goods. Put it all together on the plane, gave it away. I had an iPad for kids, gave it away. Or Amazon Fire for kids, gave it away. And then that trip ended. And I had to decide what I'm going to do next. I said, okay, let me go back to where my apartment is at in Barranquilla. And I go to Barranquilla, and I'll just chill there for a minute. But then I realized that Mentuition, International, and Steve, they actually live in Cartagena now. And I said, well, I actually have some time where I can go down to Cartagena for a day just to hang out with the homies that I was supposed to hang out with in Cali, and just get a reminder, because I had not been to Colombia, to Cartagena, Colombia, since 2020. 2020, right during the pandemic when it started, that was the last time I had been to Cartagena, Colombia, and many stuff has changed. Ups, downs. Some people say it died off. Some people say it's not the same. But a lot of times I feel as though I can't just believe a person. I have to go for myself. And the reason why I have to go for myself is because everyone goes for different reasons. And once something bad happens to somebody, a lot of the times they'll say that place is bad. Or once something extremely good happens to somebody, they'll say that place is good. So I need to go for myself. So I chose to go. I said, so Mentuition, hey, I'm gonna come down for one day. We're gonna hang out with you guys. I'm gonna come back to Barranquilla. I end up staying 2 days. And with this, I bring you the Cartagena, Colombia 2026 review, the Flyboy way. So let's start this off by closing out this, moving past the past of the restrictions, and let's get to. Again, this is going to be two different there's going to be two different reviews. Of course, we have to still keep the two different reviews. We're going to do the main review on right now, and the reason why I started at 7:30 is because I'm going to try to finish this by 8:30. If not, at the latest, I will finish this by 9. And then I'm going to take a 10-minute break. And we're going to start the review on the Flyboy Way live channel, where we really get to the talk, the real talk. Now, on this channel, I will be showing you clips from the lives that I shot there. I didn't record any video really with my eyes in my pocket. I didn't really want to do it that way. I wanted to do it live because what lives and IRLs do is they give you less excuses to say, hey, this is a cut and edited thing. This is a made up thing. This is he cut out the parts where the girl dissed him. He cut out the parts where the people robbed him. They cut out the parts. So I did not want to do that. I wanted, if I'm going to do this Black Man's, if I'm going to do a review of Cartagena 2026, I didn't want you guys to have any excuses why you're saying that, why Flyboy's experience was like this, but your experience was like that. So let me oh yeah, one more thing I wanted to show, because again, y'all know me, I like to keep receipts, and I could just tell you I got a 1 million view video and show you that it was there, but there's a lot of people who weren't here watching the channel, and there were a lot of people who didn't really know back in the day when I showed details of the Black Man's Guide. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna share the screen one more time before we get into the conversation. I'm gonna shout you guys out after we share the screen. We're gonna share the screen one more again, just one more again, and we're gonna pull up the video where I went over the analytics. Well, one of the videos I went over a lot, just to show you guys, hey, it hit 1 million views, and as of July, you see the corner over here. Can you guys see? You can. Cool. If you look in the right-hand corner, July 6th, 2023. By July 6th, 2023, I had done this video, and I told you July 3rd is when I posted the other thing. It had hit 1 million views. This video was 3 years old, and it hit 1 million views. It had over 123,000 watch hours. Got 17 subscribers, made $7,800 in the first 1 million views. The watch time also, let me see if I can find the watch time on this video, because I know I did have some other things showing. Let's see, just to show you, because watch time is important, because anybody can get views, really. Almost anybody can get views, but watch time, it tells you how long people watch for, and that's a big thing. Let me see if I can show you guys. On average, there you go. On average, people watch this video for 7 minutes and 22 seconds. Now, I know that's not a lot to a lot of you guys, but the rate of a person's attention span is like 3 to 4%, right? 3 to 4 seconds right now. Back then, it was maybe 8 seconds. And I had 1 million people, over 1 million people watching for 7 minutes on average. That doesn't mean that everybody watched for 7 minutes. That means some people watch for an hour. I mean, some people watch for the whole 20 minutes. Some people watch for 10 minutes. Some people might even watch for 3 minutes, or some people might just click on and clicked away. But if you average that out, 1 million people watched a video that I created for 7 minutes. That shows you the impact of the video. I'm not even sure if I was able to show the amount of comments there was, but there was like 7,000 comments. Again, the click-through ratio is 4.9. Views again. This is a different video. This is a different video. My fault. Again, this video had no promotion. It was just straight grassroots right here. I want to show you guys. This video had promotion. This one didn't. Look, this is the black man guy. You see over here, there's no promotion. Suggested videos, 72% suggested from suggested. Browse, 11% from browse. YouTube search, 8.4%. other YouTube features, 2.1. Unknown or direct, 2.1. Something else, 3.5. There's no ads. There's no promotion. There's nothing. This is just straight grassroots content. But now that we got that out of the way, let's get into shouting you guys out, and we'll get to the 2026 guy, y'all. 2026. All right, so here we go. Welcome back, y'all. Shout out to Show Enough in the building. What up? What up? What up? What up? Damn, yeah, I seen it. What's going on, Judge Dre? What up? What up? Flash only. What it do? V Swells in the building. Mike Larry. What up? What up? All right, y'all. So occasionally while we talk about this, I'm going to show the video because again, when we do this regular one right here, that's pretty much censored. I don't mind showing you the women. I don't mind showing you the activities, showing you the stuff. And remember, everything that I'm showing you guys happened live. There was no cut and edit. All happened live. Shout out to DC Dasher Woods in the building. And we're going to just start from even the beginning of catching the bus from Barranquilla to Cartagena. Let me see. Close that one out. Close that one out. What I want to show you guys is that I was only there for 2 days. Matter of fact, I got there on Friday afternoon. I left Sunday morning. So 48 hours. Everything that you're going to see, all the stories you're going to hear, is what I was able to do in 48 hours, which was more than you can imagine. I created 1, 2, 3, 4 live videos, IRL. 4 IRL live videos while down there. A bunch of shorts, and the IRL videos range from an hour and 43 minutes, hour and 41 minutes to 6 hours. Just so I can show you guys. Again, I like to have all the details put out front so that once you guys hear that, we can get into the potatoes. So again, I created 1, 2, 3, 4 videos while I was there. The lowest was 1 hour 41 minutes. The highest was 6 hours of a video. So if you guys want to go and watch those, you can watch those all. I've been posting a video a day for the whole month. Month's almost over. So yeah, all IRLs, all lives, or live videos. All right, so let's start by clicking this video and we'll have a conversation. We'll start with the conversation. Hold on 1 second. Let me share the screen. Turn the sound down. Let's start it from the beginning. Some of the videos are going to be choppy, but you'll see it mostly. All right, so what's going on, Big LA? All right, so one thing I realized is that while it's easier to take a Uber is going to charge you the most whenever you're going from Barranquilla to Cartagena or a private driver. You can also take InDriver, and what InDriver allows you to do is to ride with somebody else, and it'll be like 3 or 4 you guys in the same car, but all going to Cartagena. And that's about 60 mil pesos to maybe 45 mil pesos to like 65 mil pesos. That's about $20 to maybe anywhere between $15 to $25. Shout out to Midwest OG in the building. So I decided to take the Marisol bus. And the Marisol bus location is a direct I got you, Midwest. It's a direct bus that goes to Cartagena. Now, my bus here did make 2 stops, but it wasn't to pick up people. It wasn't to pick up other passengers. It was to pick up employees that had been along the way. It was only 2 stops, and we got there. It says it's supposed to be anywhere between 2 hours and 2.5 hours, but we got there in less than 2 hours. So I would definitely say if you're going to if you're thinking about, if you're in Barranquilla or you're in Santa Marta and you're thinking about going to Cartagena, or reverse, if you're in Cartagena, you want to go to Barranquilla, or you're in Barranquilla, you want to go to Santa Marta, definitely check out on Marisol, because again, $20 is not a big thing. You can always take the in driver, but for me, I feel like the bus had more space because they don't give you the it's not like the bus without the heat on it. It's like a actual Sprinter van, and what you'll see is that the Sprinter van has air conditioning. It has the Mercedes seats, and usually, again, it wasn't even that full, and it runs every hour from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So anytime between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m., you can get back and forth between Cartagena and Barranquilla and Santa Marta. Now, I would say this, though. I don't think I would be comfortable catching the 7 p.m. Bus, because while it feels very safe during the day catching this bus, at nighttime, because of the distance, and there are parts in the bus, like you see kids in there and stuff there are parts along this journey where there are no service. Like maybe like a little 10-minute ride, 10-minute, 2 clips for 10 minutes where there's no service. I even had my Wi-Fi router and I wasn't getting service. So me personally, I wouldn't catch the 7 o'clock at night bus. Maybe even not the 6 o'clock. I think I would try to catch anything as far as the 7 o'clock in the morning to the 5 o'clock at night bus. I feel as though that's the safest route to do. Now, again, they don't do any stops except for to pick up their people, and I don't think they do stops at night. I think it's just a straight drive. And there's like 1 or 2 tolls. So I definitely would say, shout out to King Porter in the building. What up? King Porter in the building. What up? I would definitely say this is a great option. It's probably better than the in driver, because in driver you're going to be close to like 2 or 3 people you don't even know, and it's like more or less. I mean, it's just, the only thing with in driver is that you can order anytime you want, pretty much. And the bus is every hour. So that's that. So now here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to tell you where I stayed, but there are going to be a lot of details. Let me close the room. There are going to be a lot of details that I leave out for this live, and there will be a reason why I'm leaving these details out for this review. But I will go more into details about it once we get to the other review on the Flyboy Live channel later. So I stayed in the El Aguito area. Now, El Aguito is the beach area. As you can see, the beach in the background there. It's right past Boca Grande, which is the more known beach. And the place I stayed at was called Palmetto Sunset. Now, notice I made sure I said Palmetto Sunset. It's just saying the Palmetto, which is an Airbnb, not a hotel, but an Airbnb. The reason why is because they also have a Palmetto Beach building, and that building is in Boca Grande, but it's not the same building. The building I stayed at, Palmetto Sunset, is the tallest building in El Aguito. So you can always just tell them Palmetto Sunset, and if you forget that, just tell them it's the tallest building in El Aguito. Now, I will say this: the people are extremely friendly. You see, they don't mind being on camera. They're not like trying to hide from the camera, even though I give her a little, give her a space and just try to turn the camera a little bit off on her and stuff. When you go there, you need your passport. If you're going to book an Airbnb, because that's what I did, you need your passport. You can't just show your physical passport. The security here is very stern with having to have the physical ID, whether you're a Colombian citizen or whether you are a extranjero, which is a foreigner. So the check-in process is really simple. Honestly, my Airbnb, both days I was there, because I had to stay in 2 different Airbnbs, because once I realized I wanted to stay another day, the Airbnb wasn't available. It was available earlier. Like, I was able to get in the Airbnb at I think 1 o'clock the first day, and I think 2 o'clock the second day. And I think the Airbnb doesn't normally start until 3 o'clock. So I would say, and I'm not going to go into too much more detail as far as different aspects of Palmetto. So if you guys have those, if you guys know what I'm talking about, we'll talk about that on the Flyboy Live channel. Palmetto is the place I would stay every time I am in CTG. The view of the view from the Airbnb I was in. Now, mind you, I stayed on the first day. I stayed on the 21st floor. The second day I stayed on the 22nd floor. And when I say the view was amazing, because let me see if I can show you guys. When I say you guys the view was amazing, it was spectacular. Now it only has one balcony, but there's a room where you can actually see out the window also. But here you go. You see me looking at the balcony. That's the room, and here's the balcony. You nothing but water. Beautiful, beautiful view. Especially if you have company, it's a beautiful view to just sit over and talk all night long, looking at the stars, because the stars are easily be seen because there's no lights. So I would say let me see. Hold on a second. I would say Palmetto. Another thing about Palmetto, and I got shout you got comments in a second. Another thing about Palmetto is that I can tell you right now on this one. We're going to talk more about the Palmetto on the live part, on the Flyboy Live after this is over. Palmetto had a lot of people who were foreigners. I don't just mean black foreigners from the United States. I mean European foreigners, Spaniards. They had people from France, but it was all cool people. Oh man, I can't wait to tell you guys a story. The story times. Make sure you tune into the Flyboy Live channel after this, man, because I got some story times about the Palmetto, man. I got some real story times about the Palmetto. V-Swell says, facts. The Palmetto Johns have y'all taking cabs. Wait. That Palmetto John have y'all taking cabs. Let me see. Yeah, facts. The Palmetto John have. Okay. I'm taking 2 cabs. Okay. Which Palmetto? Again, Getaway. The Palmetto I stayed at was Palmetto Sunset. There are 2 Palmettos that I know of. Palmetto Sunset, which is in El Aguito, and Palmetto Beach, which is in Boca Grande. The second time I actually went to the wrong Palmetto, and they was like, no, this is Palmetto Beach. Palmetto Sunset is the one you're staying at. But I do know that Palmetto Sunset, I believe, is the tallest building. It's the tallest building over there. We'll get to that rolling. We'll talk about the ladies. We'll get to that part also. But again, if you want to hear the real deep, the more inclusive details, we are going to talk about that on the Flyboy Live. Yogan says West Side. Okay, I mean, listen, hopefully there's nothing wrong with it, but again, that's not the conversation we're having here today. All right, so now the price for Palmetto for me, when I seen it, the first Airbnb I stayed at, I booked it about like a day or 2 days in advance. Remember, this is all stuff I booked last minute because I was supposed to be in Cali, Colombia this whole time. So I booked the place in Cartagena the last minute for 2 days in advance rather, for $101. So it was like $101 I booked it for the first day. The second day, because it was the day before, I booked it pretty much the night before, I had to pay $120. And personally, you can find stuff that's a lot cheaper, a lot less expensive. They do have some $80, even some $60 apartments that you could get in the El Aguito area. But for me, because this is my first time back to Cartagena, to CTG in 6 years, I had to do it right. So I had to stay here. And because I did, this is where I'll probably stay at all times now. Let's see. I can't allow you to post somebody's address on here. Yo, I gotta delete this right here. You can't post somebody's address on here. Again. Now I will tell you guys this also because it's part of the thing. The currency right now was $1 to $2,900. Now online it'll tell you it's 1 to 3,000 pesos. However, when you go to convert your money, even at the ATM, it's going to be 2,900 and some change right now. So you got to realize you took a little hit with your exchange rate. Getaway says I stayed at the original Palmetto in Boca Grande, not the 2 you showed. Okay, so I'm guessing the original one you're talking about, Getaway, is Palmetto Beach. And again, I don't know the difference between them yet, but again, that was a great thing. Now, one thing I will say this: we all have an idea. We all have an idea what it is like to go to Cartagena, to CTG. We know that there are going to be a lot of women there. We know that the atmosphere is more of a transactional atmosphere. So I decided the only way to get around the transactional atmosphere, because I wanted to show people all different aspects of CTG, I didn't want to just show one aspect, is to go and search online for a non-transactional situation. But we'll talk more about that part after we finish talking to you about the things we did and stuff like that. So if you want to stay for that part will probably be around 8:30, close to the time we end this, before we go right into the Flyboy Live channel and get to the get-tos. Okay. So once I got here, let me see, where do we go? I was going to meet up with Mentuition, but Mentuition, they had to work. They was busy at the time, so I decided to go visit the clock tower. Now, this is during the day clock tower that I have not been to in over 6 years. And as I'm going to the clock tower, what I realize is that it's more set up now for like activities and events. Not so much as just people walking and stuff like that. Walking, yes, but activities and events. Like they had a farmer's market or a vendor selling market there when I went. And surprisingly, they were playing American music, American pop music, or dance music. And one thing I realized is that a lot of the stores and clubs in the area of the clock tower have changed. But the more things change, the more things stay the same. A lot of people say that the reason why they changed is because a lot of people were videoing stuff and the YouTubers were messing everything up. However, the government had its own plan for what they wanted to do with CTG. So I don't feel as though the YouTubers played the biggest role or big enough role as everyone says, because as I talk to the people, a lot of them are saying that, hey, they're allowing more people to do stuff like this, which they didn't do before, come and make money out of there. And they charge the vendors to be able to do so. So now the city is making money off of being able to do stuff like this. Now, for some reason, this felt like a entire woman thing, where there was like a lot of older folks and ladies coming to buy stuff. So I don't know if this was a special event, because I didn't see anything I could buy for a man. Everything seemed like woman orientated, but it definitely was interesting to watch. Now, also, as I walked around the clock tower, Get Some Money, and San Diego, I realized that there are also hotels, short-time hotels that you can go to that'll be in the corner over here that you can actually rent for the day. Now, these places, they'll be more old school looking. The price will be like $400, 400 pesos a day, but it could range between 300 and 400 pesos a day. So it could be, if you don't feel comfortable staying in, and I go to the people, I ask them all this. You can see all this on the live videos. If you don't feel comfortable staying in an Airbnb, or you don't want to stay far out in like El Aguito or Boca Grande, because there is like a 15-minute drive from Boca Grande to El Aguito. So if you want to stay in this way, you can also go to these little places right here. And again, this one was like $300 for the smallest room to like $500. 300 million pesos for the smallest room to about 600 million pesos for the suite. Now, and you can book this. You can book this the day before, or if they have it available and you come in the morning, you can book it. But I believe check-in was at 12 and check-in was at 3 and check-out is at 12 the next day. So again, if you get there around like 10 o'clock in the morning, you could possibly book for that day and overnight, just in case you we'll get more into that when we talk about the other stuff. We'll get more into that. But I walk inside and see the place. I didn't really go that far. I just had the details. They have brochures and things you can do outside of just walking around and all that stuff. Because I know a lot of people don't feel comfortable in the Airbnb. So here's a hotel option that I definitely wanted to get and show you guys. There was another hotel option. It was a little bit more, but the rooms are bigger. So yeah. I'm gonna get to your comments and then we'll get back into the conversation. Let's see. Rolly says, Roy says, I need that to go back to 1 to 4,000. I think eventually it'll go back up. I don't know to 1 to 4,000, but it'll go back up definitely. Palmetto Apartments is what it's called. All of the locations are good either way. Oh, okay. I know there's a difference. I didn't know it was 3 of them. Shout out to Passport Privilege. Is that a pre-registration spot? Yes, that part, again, we'll go more into detail on the Flyboy Live. If you're just tuning in, after this is over, around 8:30 or 9 o'clock, we will be going to the Flyboy Way Live channel so we can really get to the talking part, to get to. Because I want to keep this censored so people can get the help they need and they want, we're not going to get into a lot of details. And because I'm going to be showing you pictures and videos of stuff, I don't want to be mixing the story with showing you the person that I'm talking about. All right, so that's what we're going to do at 9 o'clock. Todd Parker says, Tinder was hella transactional 3 weeks ago. Oh, one, I don't know what that was. 1 Tinder. Oh, okay. We'll get you guys. We'll get to all that part in the Flyboy channel. I don't want to go too detail in that. But we will mention about the stuff. Getaway, have you ever heard of the Oz Hotel? No, I never heard of it, and I don't think I've seen it. He says, I heard they have a good stay. I gotta check. Maybe next time I go, because I will definitely go again. I just don't have a rush for it. V Swell says, my abuela better not be in this. You heard? V Swells, your abuela would be in this, but unfortunately, V Swells, she didn't have so much nice stuff to say about. So I didn't include the video. But again, we're good. Let me get back to the conversation, y'all. All right, y'all. So now that you guys see us, what we walking around, one thing is that I noticed is that the people are extremely friendly. Like, I always believe that based on what I've been seeing on YouTube from when I left in 2020 to now, that the people didn't want to be on camera no more. I felt like because I'm watching other creators not being able to interact with people on the streets, everybody saying, move the camera, get the camera out of my face. I felt like I was going to go there to a world at G where it was going to be way different from what I experienced in 2020. But to my belief, the people were actually willing to be on camera, talk. A lot of people were interested and said, oh, you're live streaming? Can I be on the live? Jumped up on the live. They talk. Like, I don't know if it's just certain people's personalities or if maybe people don't reach out to try to talk to people and that's why they don't talk to them. But I'm telling you, I kid you not, if you watch this whole live, I had a point where a lot of people were coming up to me. A lot of ladies, even the massage ladies that was walking down the street was like, hey, come up to me. Hey, I do massages. Oh, you want to talk? I'm on live. I'm on the camera. You sure you want me to get sex? You don't have a problem with that? Again, your experience is going to be determined based on your attitude, based on your personality. So again, when the person said, hey, CTG change, when people say CTG change, again, I didn't have that experience. All right, so let's see if there's anything else in this video. I want to eventually the video gets better in clarity. We actually go to KFC to get some food. Another thing I'll tell you guys is that if you have a card, a credit card, only use credit cards. We'll get to this part too. Only use credit cards. Never use your debit card. Either credit cards or cash. Have a card that allows tap pay. Almost everywhere has tap pay. Here's the problem with that. I was using tap pay for everything. I did not have a problem until it came to nighttime when I was using tap pay at the clubs. When I used tap, and we're going to get to the club part two. When I used tap pay at the clubs, somebody took my credit card information and tried to order something from Shein. Now, because I use a protected card with Visa and Chase Bank, immediately I was notified that somebody tried to use my card for Shein, and I was able to say no, and they canceled my card and sent me a new one. The good thing with Chase is that even though they say the card won't arrive to 5 to 7 days, if you have the mobile app, I was able to use the new card immediately with tap. Now, if you're using a debit card and this happens, it won't be so easy. No matter what bank you have, you will have to go through a lengthy process and that money will not be available right away. You will have to go back to the States and go through the whole process. So no matter what, I would say bring a debit card if you need to use it to get cash out, because never exchange your money in the airport at all. Never exchange your money at CTG airport or any airport in Colombia. Always either take cash that you have already and exchange it at a local money exchange place, or preferably, you always have some cash. So that's first. Or preferably just take it out the ATM and decline the conversion. The reason why you want to decline the conversion is because if you let them convert it to their currency in their country, it's going to be at a higher rate than you decline the conversion and it converts at your bank. So that's why everybody says decline the conversion, because there's going to be a difference in price. But again, do not use tap pay. Do not swipe your debit card anywhere in Colombia, anywhere in CTG, anywhere in Medellin. Only keep it for emergency purposes to pull out cash. That's it. And I also, because I knew I was going by myself and I was moving a lot of places, what I did was I brought 2 credit cards. Just in case my bank didn't allow me to use the new credit card right away, I brought a second credit card to protect myself as for emergency purposes. That's something I would suggest you guys do. 1 debit card, 2 credit cards. Debit card does not leave your hotel or your Airbnb unless you're going directly to the ATM and directly back. The credit card, 1 stays in the Airbnb, 1 stays with you at all times, because if you run out of money, you need to tap. So I would say that's how I would say do it. I'm gonna get to your comments and we get to some more of the conversation, y'all. Let me see. OZ is right next to Vibe. I actually went to Vibe, and we'll get to Vibe next. Again, we got some time. We're trying to end this by 9 o'clock. Or we're trying to end this by 8:30, but we'll definitely end it by 9 o'clock. I went to Vibe, and we'll get to that next. But I wasn't really looking for the hotel at that time. Fox Pop says the women was giving you the eye everywhere. Okay, yes, that was one thing. Now I don't know, because I'm not going to just act like I'm some kind of suave, muscular guy who gets all the girls with a nice hairline and long hair. That's not me. But I honestly felt like everywhere I was going, I was getting the eye contact of flirtatiousness. Like even if I go back earlier in this video, I'm showing you now, right? Even if I go back in this video, I'm showing you right now to when I checked in. Now maybe it's me. Again, everybody reads things differently. Maybe it's me. Everybody reads things differently. But even when I checked in, like I feel like the laughing, this is a little bit more than just, hey, let me check you in. I'm touching my hair. I'm looking you in the eye, like I'm smiling at you. Yeah, she's doing a customer service thing, but you can kind of still see she's blushing, stuff like that. I'm smiling, she's smiling. Like this is the vibe I was getting everywhere I went. Again, no transaction, just regular vibe. So I don't know. Again, I don't know if it's everybody thing. That's why I didn't really bring it up like that. But let me see if I can show you another place when I was talking to the massage lady. Now the massage lady, I don't think she was flirting. I think she was just trying to get me to get her services. So, but again, even the massage lady was cool with being on camera. Like, again, this is what I'm telling you. Like, I don't know. I can't really speak on everybody else's interactions. See, she looked at first. She's like, oh, no. I'm like, you're camera in. I bring it back around. She's talking again. See, and now she's saying hello to everybody. You see what I'm saying? Look, the interactions. Look, she's smiling. She's cheesing. This is what I mean. Like, I don't understand it, but again, she brings out the lollipop. Again, I didn't think she was flirting. I think she was just trying to get me to utilize her services. But she was friendly. And again, when everyone is saying the women and the ladies in CTG are not friendly, camera friendly and stuff, I didn't have that experience. I just didn't have that experience. So speaking of ladies, let's go to the next part. Now, after this day, after I finally, is this the same thing? I finally met up with, no, I finally tried to meet up with oh, my fault. Let me show you guys where the ATM is at, because this is important. Now, after like talking to V Swells and OG Mike for like 30 minutes, for like 5 minutes trying to figure out what his ATM was, I finally was able to find the ATM. Now, here's the one thing, y'all. The ATM actually works. Is for most people, international. If you got an international debit card rather, it's going to be Bank of America. Bank of Colombia. My fault. Bank of Colombia is going to be the ATM that works for most people. And remember, I told you guys about the. Oh, my fault. Let me get back. One second. Trying to show you guys. Here we go. Remember, I told you guys, you enter your card. This is the process you want to go through. You enter your card, and once you come on, I'm waiting until I'm doing it. Once you enter your card, you're going to go to Bank of Colombia, because that's the one that's going to work for international cards. It's going to say Pago or return card, or like if you're paying something. So hold on a second. Let me see if I can explain. I'm explaining it here.
614. So I only got at least 6.
I'll let you hear it.
Now, I had 6 the other day. So we're gonna do this right. All right. Is this the same ATM? These all the same ATMs, Joe? I think it's on Bank of Colombia, right? All right, cool.
I'm gonna take you through how to use the ATM. I know y'all like everybody know how to use the ATM, but you gotta remember, there's certain things you want to decline, there's certain things you don't want to decline.
And guess what's gonna happen? Nobody's gonna get lost again, because I'm gonna tell them exactly where it's at. Please don't take the card. We're gonna go MasterCard. No, MasterCard debit.
Now, don't hit debit. Hit the MasterCard debit or Visa debit.
We're going to go English.
Always hit English.
Withdraw from checking
account.
Amount to be draws.
Now, here's the thing. They have all the numbers up here, right? Most of the time, you're going to want to hit different amount, because you're going to need something in between. Like, you don't want to, I don't know, most of the time you need a different account.
700 will give me more than 2.
Because 700 give you more than $200.
I can use it for banking.
And then 500 gives you less than 100. So, and now, here's where it says transactional charge. This is just a regular ATM fee for not using your ATM. So you want to hit continue here. This is what I'm saying. A lot of people would hit cancel because they say they would think it'd be declining conversion, but no, this is just a transaction charge. So you always want to hit continue on this part.
This continue, sure or not.
And now you want to enter your PIN. Okay, I'm not gonna show you a PIN.
Okay.
Now here we go.
Now we're gonna say, please wait. Transaction is processes.
Right here. And see, it says requested amount 700, access fee, which is the connection fee, that much. The exchange rate is 1. Look at this exchange rate, y'all. Look at the exchange rate. $1 USD for 2,759 pesos. 2,759 pesos. If you accept the conversion, that is what the exchange rate is going to converge your rate as. But if you decline the conversion, whenever they send it to your bank to get that money, you're going to get the rate that your bank gets. And your bank, is being in the United States or another country, is always going to give the least amount. So it's more likely for your bank to say, hey, we want 2,900 copas for every dollar instead of 2,700 copas. Now, I know if you're only taking a little bit out, it's not a lot. But when you're taking 700 pesos out, 700,000 pesos is different. Or 700 mil pesos is different. So you always want to go and hit decline conversion. And after you
decline the conversion. Decline the conversion. And then, can I get some money? No.
Now it might take a little bit long, so be careful, because if it takes too long, it'll suck your card back in.
It's like 3.29 actually, because it's from it's 3, but it's
and that's how we got the money out. Now the one thing I don't like really is that they give you a lot of. Let me get back to the regular thing. The one thing I don't like is that I'm gonna get you a comment. The one thing I don't like is that they always give you $100 bill, 100 peso bill, 100 mil peso bills. Bro, no one for the majority of the part, unless it's at a store, it's going to have change for 100 mil. They're just not. Taxi cabs, no. Vendors, no. Women, ladies, no. Men, no. Nobody's going to have. So you're going to be walking around with that 100 and either taking a big hit off of it, like somebody said, oh, I only got 80. Know what I mean? I only got 80. Exactly what I'm saying, Chalup. I only got 80. So take this 80 and you lost 20. So always, like, whenever you get that 100, the first thing you want to do is go to a store and spend that and get that at a store before all the stores close. Because once the stores close or once the main stores close, ain't nobody gonna have change for that 100. Ain't nobody gonna have change for that 100. I'm telling you. I went through a whole 2 nights and got lucky because somebody that was a foreigner in Palmetto, and this is gonna be part of the story time, had change for that 100. And that was the only way I was able to give the taxi cab driver the right amount of money I needed. So again, they're gonna always do that. Let me get some of your comments real quick, and then we're gonna go to the next part, which is the next. Okay, we get all that. All right. The next part is going to be us talking about restaurants that I went to, and we're gonna talk about Vibes Lounge. So let me bring that up real quick because that's the second video. And 1 second. I kind of rather bring it up on Mentuition channel, but because theirs is more clear. But the intro part for it, I gotta put on mine because you gotta see my company. I'll get into that conversation too. Let me see your comments. All right, let's see. Nick, what up, Nick? Straight legit, what up? Appreciate that, man. V Swell says all facts. Kenya Potter said you wild and using your debit card anywhere overseas. Again, I don't suggest taking all your money in cash. And the reason why I don't is because if you take all your money in cash and you don't take a debit card and something happens like you misplace, you lose your money and you need to get cash out and you got to use your credit card to get cash out, it's going to be a higher interest rate. So I don't personally believe taking every money in cash. Rolly says you got to have a debit card to get cash. Again, that's what I was breaking down. Vibe is different in CTG, no doubt. Big facts. Mike Larry, what's going on, man? Yeah. Again, I didn't even get a chance. Again, we're at 8:17. By 9 o'clock, we're gonna be done off of this. We'll be on the Flyboy Live, get into the real conversation, the real story times, a lot of stuff that happened in detail behind the scenes. And we're gonna still get to Hollywood Beach on here a little bit and things like that. But yeah, the masseuse was top. She was nice. She was nice. She looked good. I wanted to get up with her later, but again, as we get into the conversation that we'll talk to later, there's a lot of reasons why I couldn't. Chalup says Western Union is expensive. Is a bad exchange rate too, though, in comparison. Let me see. Shout out to T-Mac in the building. Division also works excellent for international cards. Allows you to withdraw up to 2 million pesos. Wow, that's a lot, T-Mac. But always, as T-Mac says, a person who lives in Colombia and has family in Colombia says, always decline conversion. Always. RH says, yes, it's a ripoff. King Border says, what? Decline conversion. Chulube says, decline conversion because your bank will give you a better conversion. Exactly what I said. The 304's got to change. We'll get into that conversation on the other channel. King Porter says they prefer pesos than dollars. Yeah, that is one thing I've noticed of recent. The people in Cartagena preferred pesos over dollars because their transition rate from dollars to pesos would cause them to lose a lot of stuff. So again, waitresses at Vibes are heavy. We'll get to that part again. I would say go check out Mentuition's channel because they had a clearer live because I didn't cross over to the internet at the Vibes, but they had a very clear live at the Vibes meeting link up we did. Shout out to Smoke Dower. He said he lost $200 with these stupid pants. Another thing I'll tell you guys, look, this is what I do. I'll put all of the small bills in my wallet. I'll put the 100 bills or the 50 bills, 50 mil pesos, in the little pocket that you have in your jeans. Y'all know that little pocket that you have in your jeans? I'll squeeze it in there because it's less likely that if you get robbed, you'll lose it out, or you'll keep digging in your pocket and it'll fall out. So that's what I do with the bigger bills. I try not to take more than $400,000 out per day. There's no reason to take more than $400,000 out, the 400,000 mil pesos out the house, which is about 3, 1, 1. Let me see, 3, 1. Carry the 1, 3. It's about $130. So there's no reason to take more than $130 out the house. So there's no reason you should have more than 400 million 400 mil pesos, 400,000 pesos in your pocket at any time. Yo, E Breezy, what up? What up? What up? I see you enjoy. I definitely enjoyed the Colombia. The Cartagena vibes. All right, so now we're gonna get to vibes. Since we're gonna talk about vibes, we get to vibes. Now, let me share the screen for you guys. As I spoke to you earlier, right? I told you guys, I understand that. I understand that CTG is a transactional place when it comes to ladies. 90% of the time. The only way to get around that is to go outside of the major area, meaning go outside of El Aguito, go outside of the clock tower, go outside of the Jets of Money. I was able to do this by using Tinder. On Tinder, I was able to meet an Afro-Colombian woman who was really cool, beautiful, light skin, red bone, Afro hair, 2 shades, cool as hell. She does have a kid also, but she was cool as hell, and she was sexy. And she was like, yo, she would come to see me in Barranquilla if Mentuition was gonna come up to Barranquilla instead of me going down there. And when Mentuition said, nah, he's gonna stay down there, and I decided to come to Cartagena, I said, yo, I gotta link up with this woman. Because if she was willing to take a 2-hour bus, regardless, and regardless if I was sending her the money to pay for the bus, which she never asked, it is important that she has a good personality, and I want to know more about her. Now, this is the difference between this is that you have to know through trial and error how to figure out which women have good personalities and which women have transactional personalities. A good personality is a woman who at no time asks you for money or asks you to help her before you meet her. Notice I said before you meet her. A transactional woman is a woman who will tell you in the beginning, yo, if you want to meet me, I need this much for my time. I need this much for my thing. Regardless of any else that can just to be in my presence. Me personally, I do both. We'll get more into that in the Flyboy Live channel. I'll go both paths. I'll go both paths. But I didn't want that experience for the first time returning back to Colombia. Returning back to Cartagena. So I was lucky to find this beautiful woman, Kay. You can watch the live. You can see all the interactions, the real conversations. In our conversations with Mentuition, I'm gonna speed up a little bit because it's dark for a little bit. In our conversations with Mentuition at Vibes, again, let me show you when we pull up to Vibes. At Vibes Bar. Now, for you guys that don't know, we keep saying Vibes. Vibes is a bar owned by a group of American men or black men who opened up a bunch of different bars throughout Colombia called Vibes Bars. I believe they also have a hotel. And as we go there, you'll see other black men, the waitresses. As you can see, they're nice. Some of them are in relationships, some of them are single. But the thing about Vibes Bar, and this I'm going to tell you guys, odds are you're not going to be able to get the Vibes girl's phone number. It's something that I feel, in my opinion, is in their contract where they cannot give out their number or their social media to anyone that's a customer. That's just what or maybe they lose their job. So I know a lot of people are like, oh my God, if I want a regular girl, I got to go somewhere like Vibes and get one. So let me just try to give this girl at Vibes my all and get her number so I could be like, I got a regular girl. No, it's not going to work that way. Trust me, it's not going to work that way. You're going to be doing all this stuff to impress her, buying all this stuff, and then you're not going to get a number. It's pointless. Just don't do it. The route was I went on Tinder a month ahead, and I kept searching. I had to search for at least 100 women. No, not 100. At least I had to talk to at least 40 women. Search for 100, talk to 40, and of that 40, maybe 10 of them was willing to come out and hang out without having to be a transactional thing. And of those 10, Kay was the one I picked. I had to go through all of that to get there. Now, if in this conversation we talk about and again, it's clear on Mentuition's live. So if you guys haven't already, check out Mentuition's live at Vibes Bar with the Flyboy Way. In this conversation, I asked her and I don't want to bring it up because I don't know where I'm finding that. I asked her, is it possible for a guy, and this is why it's important to have conversations with the locals, is it possible for a guy to have a relationship or to get to know a woman in Cartagena if he doesn't spend money? She looked directly in our face and she said, no, it's not possible. At some point, a man is going to have to spend money, whether it's to gather her attention or for her time. She says, not all women are going to ask for money for your time. And I said, really? What's the percentage? She said, maybe like 90% will ask for money for your time. But there will be like 10 to even maybe 15% of women in Cartagena who don't ask for money for your time. But you got to spend money on them on a date. You got to go buy stuff. Like you got to go buy them food. If you ask them to come to see you, you got to pay for the bus. You got to do that. But she then goes on to say, even of that 10 to 15% of women, and this conversation that we had, even between that 10 to 50% women that do not ask for money to hang out with them, 10% of them are going to say, hey, if you have a good time with them, remember, we're on the Flyboy Live channel. We'll talk more into detail about this. If you have a good time with them in a certain way, 10% out of that 15% is going to ask you to help them at the end of the night before they go home. Now, do you have to? No. However, it is pushed. So again, you got to understand that if a woman that lives in Cartagena, was born in Cartagena, raised in Cartagena, is telling you that 90% of the women that you meet are going to have some amount of transactions, I don't know why you would believe anybody that can go to Cartagena and say that they did not have to come out of pocket to do anything. Because I'm telling you, maybe they found that 10% if you know the language. But even of that 15 to 10%, 10% of that is still asking for something after everything is over. This is just my conversation that I had with a local woman who's a beautiful woman. She's not an unattractive woman. So if she was an unattractive woman, she would have a totally different conversation. But as an attractive woman, as an attractive Afro-Colombian woman, this is what she was telling me. I then went on to ask her, and these are conversations we can have now before we go to Flyboy Live. I then proceed to ask her, if you want to date a woman, and all this conversation is on live, you hear it. I then proceed to ask, if you want to have a relationship more long-term with a woman in CTG, what is the required amount of money that you have to provide every month to keep that relationship and live good? She said, well, in my particular case, I have a daughter and myself, and then my boyfriend who I would have. My boyfriend, she doesn't have a boyfriend, but my boyfriend would have to make at least 5 million Colombian pesos per month in order to provide her with the lifestyle that she requires. And then she doesn't have to work on the street. She doesn't have to go anywhere. She still will work. She still will go all the stuff, but she doesn't have to work at Vibe. She doesn't have to work and be a pro. She doesn't have to do any of that stuff because this is what she requires. She said it's 5 million. That's in United States dollars. That's about $1,600 a month to cover rent, food, activities, family things, and the kid. The woman who we asked, who works at Vibe Bar, who has a boyfriend, said that she requires 8 million. And I said, wait. Your boyfriend must be a United States citizen because the average Colombian doesn't make 8 million Colombian pesos a year. She laughed. Now, some people would automatically think she was lying. But the way she responded and calm and relaxed and laughing about it, I knew she was telling the truth. So I was questioning. I said, hey, so your boyfriend's Colombian? what is he, an artist? She goes, no. I'm like, what is he, a doctor? What does he do? And she got interrupted for a little bit, and she came back and said, he's in politics. I said, oh, that makes sense. Now, political figures, artists, and some business entrepreneurs can easily make up to 5 to 8 to maybe even 10 million Colombian pesos a month. But the average United States citizen doesn't make that 8 million, because 8 million is about 2,000. I mean, let me figure out how much 8 million Colombian pesos right now. Mind you, we're talking about the dollar low. How much is 8 million Colombian pesos to dollars?
8 million Colombian pesos equals $2,589.50.
$2,589. That is what she requires with just herself. The waitress did not have a kid. The waitress just by herself with her boyfriend. Now, mind you, she had a rock on her finger. She said it wasn't a married thing. She had a rock on her finger. Big rock, like looked like a real diamond. Now, she was working at Vibes, who kind of threw me off. But I guess the Colombian people, the men knew that, hey, even though I'm providing you with this lifestyle, if I don't keep you busy with work, you'll get into something bad or spend all this money recklessly. So I kind of understand why her boyfriend would still allow her to work at Vibes, because remember what I told you guys, Vibes girls are not giving out their information. From what I believe, from what I saw, they're not giving out their contact information while on the job. Now, if you meet them somewhere else, it's different. And again, I had a conversation with another woman from Cartagena. She said this. Oh, okay. We'll see. We'll say that part for the Flyboy Live, because that gets more into the transactional aspect of things. So let's keep going. We can wrap this up because we got like less than 30 minutes left. Let me get to y'all comments real quick, and we're gonna go to the next part, y'all. Let's see. Khalil says that's a lie. They didn't give you the Instagram. I don't think that's in that. Roman says you said 2-hour bus. She must be no. Rowie, I was in Barranquilla. She was in Cartagena. She was going to take the 2-hour bus to come see me in Barranquilla, because originally International and Steve from Mentuition were going to come up to Barranquilla and just hang out there. But they had came up to Barranquilla the week before, so they said he's going to stay in CTG. And that gave me the opportunity to come back to CTG and tell you and give you the update for 2026, which is awesome. Shout out to Where's Milano in the building. Kenya Porter said the 40-pack. Yep. Caesar Blue, what up? Yeah, she was tripping. Chalup, yep, 2,600, man. Like it says, yeah, the average citizen in the United States is making $2,000 to $2,200 a month, and unless they got a second job, yes. Gotta have a job if you want to get with me. Now, mind you, she was an attractive woman, but again, when I asked her, she said her boyfriend was in politics. There's only a few jobs in Colombia, and it's not police, it's not lawyers for most part. It's only a few jobs in Colombia: politics, artists, dealers, judges, that make that much money a month, expendably that much money a month. Let me see. Caesar says, yeah, the Vibes run by Americans. He don't allow the women to pitch woo on the job. Big facts. E Breezy says, Way, just to give you insight, if you're a regular gym person, your odds increase 5 to 6%. Non-pro, 40%. That I don't. E Breezy, that's not what the girl said. I can't tell you. I'm not a gym bro. I'm telling you what the woman said. The beautiful Colombian, Afro-Colombian woman told me. So I can't speak on people who are super in shape. People who are. I'm telling you what she told me. Now that I got your comments, I want to move to the last part because we're getting close to 9 o'clock. Remember, y'all, at 9 o'clock, we're going to end this live. And then we're going to get to the real talk, behind the scenes stuff on the Flyboy Way Live channel. So if you haven't subscribed to that channel already, make sure you check out the Flyboy Way Live channel, because we're going to really get into a lot of details on the Flyboy Way Live channel, because it's a lot more convenient. Now, we'll go back again. Now, so far, I told you I made 4 live videos. I talked about the bus there. I talked about the restaurant I went to. Now I'm going to touch on Hollywood Beach, and then we're going to end with the nightlife. Now, when I say I'm going to touch on Hollywood Beach, if you don't know, there's a lot of reasons why I can't go into too detail on this version about Hollywood Beach. This is not for promotion YouTube. This is for educational purposes. I'm going to click on Hollywood Beach because what I want you guys to see is that I got to start from where we at. All right, let's start from where it's clear. All right, it's clear from here. All right, so here's the thing, y'all. I've been going to Barranquilla since 2019. The reason why Colombia doesn't get boring for me because I build relationships and interactions with people that last the test of time. I'm not just going to see the certain view. I'm not just going to try to get women out the bar or get transactional women or get anything like that. I go to interact with the people. One of my close friends there in Colombia is Isaac. He's in Cali, Colombia. One of my closer friends is Vladimir. Vladimir is ex-military. He lives in Barranquilla. I've known these people for 5 to 7 years. So I converse with them a lot. When it comes to the ladies that I choose to be with, I usually keep at least 2 or 3 that I've been talking to consistently. Sherry is one woman that's under the wing. When I say under the wing, I don't want a relationship. But she's one of the women who, if I need somebody to hang out, if I want somebody to hang out with that's cool, I can call Sherry up. She's right there. She doesn't give me any excuses. She doesn't give me any reason why she can't do nothing. And yes, it's not a transactional situation, but I do help her out. I pay her phone bill. $15 a month. $15 a month. Sherry got me a phone. My Colombian phone is in her name, but I use it whenever I want to. Like I have it. I have my Colombian phone right now, but it's in her name because as a United States citizen, unless you have a cedula, you can't get a Colombian cell phone with Claro. Now, Claro is the best service to have. So she went and she came in the store. She helped me get it. She didn't ask for anything. She showed me how to put it in. I go back to the store whenever I do. I pay in advance, and it keeps it good. Now, she gets a benefit off of it, though. Her benefit is that it improves her credit because now the phone is in her name, and I pay every month. So it improves her credit. So she does get a benefit to it, but I get the biggest benefit when I don't want to give all the girls my United States number. I don't feel comfortable having all the girls on my United States phone. A lot of the ones, especially the ones that are just temporary, I keep them in the Colombian phone. You know what I mean? And when I go to Colombia, I bring the Colombian phone. So if they check me and they say, we want to see what you got, I show them my regular phone, ain't got no craziness in it. My Colombian phone might have some craziness in it, but it's easily, I mean, whatever's going. So again, Sherry lives in Barranquilla. Now, I knew what Hollywood Beach was. I know what Hollywood Beach is as of 2026. It's a place where you go to relax. The police are there to protect you. There's sometimes migration there. There's also sometimes some other groups of people who, make sure that you keep the music at the right tone. There's lifeguards to save you if you get drowned. But I also know there's a lot of women in Hollywood Beach. But 95% of the women in Hollywood Beach are going to be a transactional experience. And on the beach, because it's known for being a transactional experience, a lot of women aren't going to be as comfortable with the cameras rolling. However, it is a public place where you can film. Public places you can film. But as a content creator who's creating content for 17 years, who's been on YouTube since 2009, I understand that there's a way that you have to go about filming, even in public places, to make sure that you don't mess up the vibe of the area. So what did I do? I called my friend, Sherry. I said, Sherry, I would love for you to join me. I would love for you to join me when I go down to Hollywood Beach, because having you sit by my side will make it a lot easier to have my camera tripod set up and film because I'm with you. And if women walk past in the background, so be it. is a public place. Sherry said, okay, come on now, I got you. Cool. She threw on a bikini. She bought a new outfit. Boom, threw on a bikini. She said, I'm going to come with you. Now, what you'll see is that there's a lot of people on the beach today. Now, I went there Friday, but I got there late and it started raining. But on Saturday when I went there, I was able to meet Tony that I don't know if he still does, used to work with International Zoe. I was able to meet Danger the Hookup, and he gave me a little information about himself. He came in the camera, gave a shout out. I was able to meet other people who watched the channel. I was surprised how many people still remember me from the Black Man Guide to Cartagena, because they was like, yo, you're the reason why we're here. Like, if you go to Ask International or you ask Steve, you'll see, like, maybe on camera, because I don't like showing people face like that when they say what's up. But you'll see, if you watch this live, at least 10 people come up to me like, yo, I appreciate what you did. I appreciate, I came here because of you, yada, yada, yada. And I tell them my real name. I say, listen, just make sure you teach the next person. But again, as a content creator who's been content creating for a long time, I understood that with Sherry there, I could do stuff like flip the camera if something nice I wanted you guys to see is in the front of the camera, or if the woman like in the background is looking back at the camera, I could flip it away, or Sherry be there, and if she says something, they're not going to come up to me with another girl next to me. That's one thing that I realized also. Women on the beach have some kind of etiquette where if there's another girl sitting next to a guy, even if it's a transactional place, they will not come up to you and say anything. And because of that, unless you're like you're cool with them, I mean, because of that, Sherry made it easy for me to really enjoy the time I had there, and we was able to turn the music up and everything. Now here's the thing: there's going to be a lot of vendors. There is going to be a lot of vendors that come up to you to sell stuff. Now, if you want a good vibe, right? If you want a good vibe, it's important that you have a couple things. You know, the first thing, and somebody said I brought sand to the beach, right? And I say I brought sand to the beach because my sand is better, but but it actually for other reasons. There's a couple things that you want to make sure you have. You want to make sure you have chairs. You want to make sure you have umbrellas, and you want to make sure that you have, or that you get a speaker. Now, here's the thing: there are some things also you want to bring to the beach, because at the beach it's going to be a higher price. If you can get a cooler, like a round cooler at Hollywood Beach, or it's only like what $10, you get a cooler. You take the cooler, you put a bunch of ice in it, you bring Coronas, you bring beers, you bring whatever you want to drink, because everything at the beach is going to be 2 times what it was in the store. So it would be better for you if you're going to Hollywood Beach, and that's the beach I say go to. If you want more of a family thing, you can go up to Boca Grande Beach. You can go to Playa Blanca. You can go to the islands. You can do all that. But as a man who likes to see views, who wants to relax, listen to music, no matter what kind of music you want to play, Hollywood Beach is the place you want to go. And it's in walking distance from Palmetto Sunset, as well as Palmetto, what's the name, I believe. Now, again, now I can't play the music because the music is loud and there's other music, but I'll tell you this. Depending on the vibe you want, you have to understand your atmosphere. A lot of people get the speaker, they get the radio, and they want to play their hip hop music. They want to play hip hop music. They want to play Jay-Z, Song Cry. They want to play Rakim. They want to play me. They want to play like Eminem. They want to play like more of a miracle type music. But if you want to bring the best of the best quality to you, you want to play the music that the people, that the ladies in the area listen to. And that music will be a lot of dembo, Dominican Republic music, dembo, and a lot of music from reggaeton in Colombia and other places like that. Bad Bunny is a safe place where you can get some, but if you really want the ones that's going to dance, come and be enjoyable with you, you got to play that dembo. If you don't know what dembo is, just put dembo on your phone to YouTube. You play that, boom, da, da, boom, and they're going to go. They're going to come by the dozens. Even with us already having ladies, shout out to International and Steve and Sherry, even with us having ladies with us, because everyone around us was playing like hip hop music, but we was playing if you can go to see we was playing the Dembo and the reggaeton and the Karol G, regardless of the camera being obviously right next to me. They was coming up to us, they was in the background, they was dancing, and you can see, as much as people say that women didn't want to be on camera, we kept attracting all the ladies coming to us the whole time. They kept coming around. They walked past us 3-4 times. One lady was sitting in the background the whole time, and she had the audacity to come up to me and say, "Hey, why are you filming me? Every time I move, you're filming me. You're watching." And I'm like, "Bro, I didn't even know you was behind me." And then, as you watch the video, you'll see that she keeps trying to jump on camera in the background every single time, to the point where she came up to me to say something and then went back in the same place in front of the camera when the camera wasn't pointing at her. And it wasn't by a chair. Basically moved the chair to the camera. A lot of the women, they're going to want attention. They're going to want attention. Now, I want to relate this back to what another woman from Cartagena said. And after this, we're going to get ready to move, to wind down and go to the Flyboy channel where we can talk about the other stuff. The girl from Cartagena, the last woman I was hung out with before I caught the plane back, she said, where you meet the girl and how you meet the girl is of mass importance. You can go to Boca Grande Beach. You can go up more to other beaches. And if you meet a woman and just say, "Hey, how are you doing? I would like to get your number, get to know you." If she doesn't, she might not automatically come out with, "Well, this is what I need. This is what I need from you." And that might be a chance for you to meet a non-pro or a regular girl. However, that does not exist, in my opinion. This is my opinion. That does not exist on Hollywood Beach. Now, you can see the girl in the background who's like, she moved her chair. Her chair, the blue chair, if you see the girl in the blue chair, and now she's looking at the camera, the blue chair was over there, and she moved it back over here. Mind you, she moved it back over here. That's where it was at originally. And when she realized she wasn't on camera, she moved it back over here. And then she moved it back over again. You're going to get that. But notice she did not come up to me again because I was with Sherry. So again, as a content creator, this is just information for content creators who are thinking about trying to get content on the beach like Boca Grande. Go with a vibe. Now, if your vibe likes vibe, if your girl, we'll say that for the other part. All right, y'all. All right, so now we got like 10 minutes left, so let's move to the last part. I told you I was going to just touch on Hollywood Beach, and we'll move to the last part. Let me get to y'all comments, and then we'll move to the last part because we got like 10 minutes left, and then I'm going to take like a 10-minute break, and we'll pop up on the Flyboy Live. Again, so if you're not subscribed to the Flyboy Live channel, you're gonna miss out on a lot of details. All right, let's get to y'all comments first, Sharon. Get to y'all comments first. Rolly 9. Rolly says all the native dudes are gym bros. They need your money. Here's the thing with the thing. When I asked the girl, and this is a conversation we had, I said, "Hey, how come a lot of the native guys don't have to spend money, but the extra narrows have to spend money?" And she said something simple that made 1,000% sense. The foreigners come and go. They're not there consistently. And not all the foreigners are sugar daddies sending money back to Colombia, to Cartagena. So when they find somebody that they grew up with, that they know, and their family knows, their family encourages them to, as long as that person is, a good person, encourages them to be with that person that the family knows. So it's not simply that the local guys from the barrios are in shape, or the local guys don't have to pay. It's just that the families are encouraging them to go with the guys that have been around their family, where each family, like a guy might have been from this family, and their family know this family, and they was always around. They might not have ever been able to make that money and move like that, but the families know each other, so that's what happens. It seems like back in the days when in like Africa and stuff like that, when they had tribes that families got together and they just blended their family together because they was cool with each other. So that's the reason why you'll see a lot of these women with kids from locals, knowing that the locals don't have money. This the reason why you'll see the people like. But after they have their first kid, the woman starts to venture out, or the woman starts to venture out and realize that there's a lot of other people. They start to venture out to extra narrows and stuff like that. Because remember, most of the women in Colombia have their kids at a young age, before 24. So before 24, they're not going to Hollywood Beach. I mean, most of them not. Before like 21, they're not going to Hollywood Beach. So they got a kid at 19, and then at 22, they need money to go to Hollywood Beach. They realize these foreigners want to have kids with us. These foreigners want to spend money on us. If I would have knew this, again, the girl said, if I would have knew this before I listened to my family and had kids with the local guy who families were cool with each other, I would have never had kids with them. But again, it's just a matter of information and how they found out the information. This is the conversation I had with the girl. Matter of fact, 2 girls. So again, it's not about being in shape from what they said. It's not about them not having to pay. It's just about them being around all the time, which makes it simple and understandable why they end up with them. Let's see. Thailand will always be the #1 tourist destination for Brandon. Okay. Thailand is cool, but the distance is a factor. For me, Thailand is cool. Distance is the biggest factor, but it's also a factor where they don't have really like melanated women. I mean, if you want to get maybe one of the African pros that be there, maybe, but they don't have really. I don't see a lot of I haven't been to Thailand, but I have not seen on anybody's channel a bunch of melanated women that's like here, except for the ones that moved from the States. So again, I will most likely be going to Thailand next year, and I'll speak more on it. But we're here right now about with the recap. Shout out to T-Mac in the building again. Roy says, you've been to Santa Marta? Yes, I've been to Santa Marta this year. I have videos, and real quick, I can show you real good. I have a whole playlist in Santa Marta here that you can check out by just going to playlists. And then you'll see this year I've been to San Andres, Bogota, I've been to Barranquilla, I've been to Cartagena now, I've been to Cali, and I've been to Santa Marta. There's a full playlist with about 8 videos that you can see with me moving around. Most of them also there's also live videos in Santa Marta as well. I don't have them on the playlist, but there's also live videos in Santa Marta as well from this year, 2026. That is, if you're watching this in the future. Again, let's see Santa Marta lives. Let's see Santa Marta lives real quick. There's Bogota lives. Here you go. Santa Marta live. I also went to Minca, Colombia, with 2 nice Colombian women. And again, so you can see all these lives in Santa Marta as well. All right, so let's get back to the final live because we got less than 7 minutes left. All right, so we're gonna go to the final live now. Nightlife. Nightlife. All right. As you can see in the video, the nightlife isn't the same as the Black Man's Guide to Cartagena that was shot in 2020. When it was 2020, there was no tents up at night. It was open space and a lot of women. We all know the women were mostly transactional, 95% back in 2020. They now have groups of people in these red vests that I don't want to say push away, but they I'm looking for the proper word. They escort the ladies out of the clock tower who are conjugated and talking to people in one place. So that necessarily doesn't mean that there are no more transactional ladies in the clock tower. That's not true. It's just it's hidden in plain sight. Hold on. Can you guys give me a 1 if you can hear me? Because I see somebody chat. Give me a 1 in the room if you can hear me. Oh, he retracted. All right, cool. All right. So, it's not that the women, again, it's not that they all, let's say, all right. So in 2020, let's say there were 100 transactional ladies in the clock tower. There now may only be 40, but they are hiding in plain sight. And when I mean hiding in plain sight, I mean you can point them out because you'll see them sitting there. But if you go to talk to them, they'll tell you, you have to walk with me. We can't just be sitting still talking. Because what's going to happen is one of the people with the red shirts are going to say, hey, lady, you got to go. So what you have to be doing is walking with them. And they'll walk with you and talk with you. And I want to give you an example of that. But even some of them, like, pause right here. If we stop it right here, right? Let's go back right here. You can see there's tables with older folks and couples. But then if you look a little closer, which is a little bit more difficult here, you can also see that there's tables with just two girls sitting there and two women sitting there. And you'll kind of know. Let me see if I can speed it up a little bit more. And show you the red shirt, red vest. Right here, you see? Look, these are the people with the red vest that I'm talking about. And then they're not police officers, but there usually be a police officer around them so that if there is an issue with the lady, it's a security of interior. A security of interior. And they'll if the lady does give them some kind of hassle, they'll point them out the way. Now, here's the thing. I know a lot of people remember the clubs like Space and Dolce Vita and Delirium. Now, me, I wasn't able to go to the first and second Delirium. However, I was able to see Space Dolce Vita at its prime, 2019, 2019, and 2020. I was able to see Dolce Vita at its prime and Space at its prime. There are currently some places that we walk past that are similar to that. However, because of my opinion, there are some places that are similar to that, but because of the political situation, they are very against having cameras in that place. And they'll look at you funny and they'll tell you, no, you can't bring no cameras in that place. They won't allow you to record with your phone. As soon as you go into place, they'll be like forcing you somewhere to buy a drink. But when you go into place, it is 2020 Space. It is 2020 Dolce Vita in the same place. Now, the setup might be different. Instead of going upstairs, you might go downstairs. But the setup is exactly the same. It's exactly the same as what it once was. But again, they'll come up to you. The fist and no filming, yada, yada, yada. You can't film inside. What are you doing? And of course, it's a mixture of security as well as people who are in certain organizations. Let's just say people who are in certain organizations to make sure that you don't do that. Now, if you want to sneak a camera inside and you want to do that and you want to show it, that's on you. I wasn't willing to do that. My brand carries more to me than just trying to get something that other people don't have. So we didn't go inside. But we also walked around to Gets Money. Now, Gets Money is a nice little walk away. You go through part of the city part. But once you get to Gets Money, you'll see the flowers, the things up. There are different clubs and Gets Money you can go to. I'm gonna speed up a little bit because we're gonna go over a little bit over 9 o'clock. There's different bars and stuff. They got rooftops, all that stuff. Now, there are 3 major places where you can go, and I feel as though there are more club-like that you can go. The first place is called 77 Times. Now, 77 Times is a bar. Let's not go to 77 Times first. Let's go to the first place. The first place is called Havana Cafe. Now, Havana Cafe usually has a live band, and because it has a live band, they charge a cover charge. The cover charge is 70 mil pesos, which is a little bit over $20. And you can see right here, it says Havana Cafe, and as you can assume, it's given more of the Cuban vibe, where you'll see people dancing, you'll see them playing the band. There's actually beautiful women there too. You can probably see more on my shorts. For some reason, I wasn't getting the greatest service inside. So you won't see that too much. Also, the second place I want to tell you about is 77 Times. Now, 77 Times has It has 2 floors and a rooftop. Now, to me, it's more of a tourist spot. It's called 7 Times. As soon as you go, and now it's about, I forgot, it was like 40 million, was it 30? It was 30 million pesos to get in. And they was telling you the exchange for dollars did. Mind you, that exchange was 2.29, right? The other, remember, the ATM was 2.7. Right here is 2,900. So even in 7 times, it's higher than the conversion on the ATM. And when you walk in, you get like it's 30 mil pesos, but you also get patted down, and there's a you get free shots, and it's a free shot of Patron. So it's not cheap liquor. They give you a free shot of Patron with every entrance, and it's 30 mil pesos. 30 mil pesos again is like $13. So again, I think 7 Times is a good place to go. Now, of all the places I went, and this is still 7 Times right here, I think this is the most tourist place because I feel like tourists meaning people outside of Colombia. Like Havana Club Cafe had people inside Colombia that might be from different parts, but this place definitely felt like Europeans, Spaniards. I think there's one other black guy. He might have been from Africa. But the DJ was cool. I could film. You could film me there as a content creator. You know, you see me right at the DJ booth with my camera and my phone and the live. So it was a lot of stuff to do. There's upstairs also where you can go upstairs on the rooftop. The drinks here weren't that bad. I think the drinks here were only like 14 mil pesos. 14 mil pesos. I think so. It's like about give or take like seven no. It wasn't that much. Probably like, yeah. So again, this is the rooftop we at. This is when we linked up with me International. We linked up finally with Steve. Shout out to Steve from Mentuition. He finally linked up with us, and we chill here. Now, the last 2 places I'm going to tell you about, I didn't record a lot of film in the last place because while you can record, I was with Mentuition, and Mentuition was recording very so well that I didn't feel like I needed to go live at the same time, and that was Delirium. Now, Delirium is one of those places that has a bad rap because of how much it costs, and they do try to run the prices up on you. I brought a girl a drink, and it was like 40 mil pesos for a drink. 40 mil pesos, no, my fault. Was it 40 mil pesos or was it $40? My fault. It wasn't 40 mil pesos. It was $40 for a drink. 40 mil pesos would have only been like $13. It was $40 for a drink. It was like 123 mil pesos for a drink. It was a mixed drink. Now, I know he upcharged me. I didn't really mind because to me, I was just buying a girl a drink because she helped me out with something. But you got to watch for that. They're going to upcharge you on that. However, I would suggest if you're going to if you're going to Delirium is outside of the wall area. You're either going to have to take a shuttle, and they give you the shuttle from the clock tower to Delirium, but it's about 20 to 25 minutes outside of the clock tower area. However, if you're going to go, you should definitely go with more than 2 people, and you should get a section. The reason why I tell you this is because, listen, a lot of people complain about the price gouging and stuff like that. But when you go to a 5-star restaurant, you don't expect to spend McDonald's prices. This is the best example I can give you guys. When you let me lower this down real quick. We'll get to the last bar after Delirium. When you go to a 5-star restaurant, and we're talking about Delirium nightclub outside of Wall City. When you go to a 5-star restaurant, you don't complain that the prices are not the prices of McDonald's. You got to know you're going there and you're going to spend the money. You're going to spend the bread. Now, if you want a section, there are smaller sections that you're required to buy 1 bottle. There's bigger sections or more in front of the stage sections where you're required to buy 2 bottles and they have to be premium. Premium bottles start at 500 mil pesos or 400 mil pesos. That is about $120, right? So if you want to buy 2 premium bottles, you're looking at 800 mil pesos, which could be about $250. Now, in United States, in Miami, 1 bottle is $400. one premium bottle is $400 USD. In Delirium, 2 bottles is $250. If you're required to get 2 premium bottles, you could be spending anywhere, depending on what kind of premium you get, anywhere between $250 and $400. Now, this is buying them in advance. $400 is going to end up being like a million pesos. You can complain about it being so high, but the experience you're going to get in Delirium is, follow me here, y'all, and we're going to get into the other part and on the Flyboy Live channel. So follow me there. We'll get more detail at the Flyboy Live channel. You're going to get the best looking women as a variety in the city of Cartagena. The best looking women. Now, yes, everyone, it's going to be 95 to 99% transactional when it's dealing with the women in Delirium. 95 to 99% transactional with dealing with the women. But I'm specifically telling you guys, if you ain't got the buck to do it, maybe don't do it. There's other options. We'll talk about that on the Flyboy Live channel. There's other options. If you ain't got the buck to do it, maybe just don't do it. But if you got the buck to do it, again, 2 drinks will put you in a great section. 2 drinks ends up being $250. $250. No, my fault. 2 drinks end up being 100 million pesos. It depends. Because it said 800 if you want 2 premium drinks, but it's like Don Julio. But if you want that 1942, you want the higher version, the Reposado, now you're looking at $400. But now you're looking at $400 for a section with all the Johns coming to you. You're in front of the stage. You got a lot of space. And if that's the vibe you want, you got to come out of pocket. Now, mind you, we'll get more into detail about the transactional aspect on the Flyboy Live page. So if you haven't subscribed to that page yet, if you haven't linked that page up, go to that thing right there. Now, if you want something that is not as expensive as Delirium, but you still want to get sections, you can get a whole table with just beers for 250 mil pesos. And the reason why I told you Delirium first for the expensive, because I told you guys it was another option. The other option you can choose, and again, I stopped recording halfway through this one because again, Steve was recording from Mentuition, and the quality of his camera in this bar was a lot better. If you don't want to go to Delirium because you don't want to spend top dollar and get that top experience, the other option you have is right in the clock tower. The place is called RD. It's really called the Dominican Republic. But you know, they say instead of saying DR in Latin America, they say reverse RD. Now, RD is right in the clock tower area, or the Get Some Money area. I'm not really sure, but it's in that area. And it's a club that plays dembo. It plays Brazilian funk, Bali funk. It plays some hip hop. I heard some hip hop in it, but it's really Dominican music and Bali funk. Now, there is a cover charge for men. There's no cover charge for females. So I personally feel like you should bring a woman here. But there were a lot of women that you could probably talk to in this club called RD. But I personally felt like you should bring a woman there. And if the woman like women, you could possibly have a great end of the night. This place is called RD. And it was about 30 mil pesos to enter. So we paid the 30 mil pesos. And I feel like the club is run. All right, so you know how you usually have clubs that like places that like Chinese restaurants in Colombia, but it's usually Colombians there, or Indian restaurants and it's usually Colombians there. While I believe that there are a lot of Colombians employed in this place, I do believe that the club is run, is DJ'd, and a lot of the people that work there are Dominican. Because the way that the once you see the video, you'll see it. And once you hear the music, once you see the people running around with the Dominican flags, and you gotta look to it. The guy thought I was Dominican too, but for whatever reason, he thought I was Dominican, so he brought the Dominican flag up to me. But it's a nice little hallway you walk through. As soon as you go in, it opens up to a big crowd. It's really good. So again, if you don't want to pay this high price in delirium, and you still want to possibly meet women, except for here, if you're looking for the transactional vibes, it's not going to be as transactional. But you can meet women in this place. There are a lot of women in this place, but it gets kind of fuzzy here. Again, I told you guys, if you want to go watch this live, you see, when I say Dominicans, you can see as soon as we walk in, there's a bunch of women over here at a table by themselves. There's women right here, women dancing with guys, women in the corner of the section over here. Again, there's a lot of women that's in this club. These guys don't know this woman. They're talking to her. The employees are really excited, really into the to working there. Again, it gets kind of messed up there. So here, we went a little bit over 9 o'clock. I'm gonna get to y'all comments, and then after I get to y'all comments, we'll go to the Flyboy Live in like 10 minutes, and we'll get to the real the more deeper conversations again. And we'll start from where we left off here, because I think this is important, a good place to start off from. So let me get to y'all comments, and then we'll end this live. Jehovah, let me see. I'll drop the link for the other page here. No, just type in this. I don't know how to drop the link. That's it. Hold on a second. The fly. Hold on. The fly. Oh shucks. The fly boy way. Wow. Just type that in YouTube. You'll find it. All right, so let me get to y'all comments. Let's go. Wow. All right. All the native dudes. Been to Santa Marta. Cobalt said, "You telling too much. You telling them too much, dog." That's crazy. You shout the danger to hook up, y'all. It's no must learn Spanish. I asked a bunch of women, is Spanish important? They said a bunch from Cartagena. They said the guy's personality is more important than them knowing Spanish. That's why a lot of them don't stick around with the guys that they have kids with, because their personalities aren't as good in their experience. And that's like 3 different women that told me that in Cartagena. V Swell said blasting Meek Mill for no reason. Now Meek Mill on Playa Hollywood sometimes will get you some vibes, that one song. But other than that, man, Kenya Porter was there. He saw it. She definitely wanted to be in the camera. And I'll tell you guys in the next part what happened. I'll tell you guys in the next part, in the Flyaway part. GFE, aka bodyguards. V Swell hit it on the nose. How far out are we pre-gaming the girls on Tinder? We'll talk about that on the next part, DC. So make sure you hit up the Flyboy Live. We'll go live in like 10 minutes. I need a 10-minute break real quick. T-Mac says it's easy to meet a regular girl if you live there, yes. Or know you will be there frequently. Big facts. It's more difficult otherwise. That is a big fact. Shout out to Profusion. What's good? What up? David, good, man. Santa Marta is a more relaxed vibe. I agree. It does have its nightlife, but it's more relaxed. Shout out to Terrence Hill in the building. Jehovah. Oh my God, man. Bugs. Jehovah says the shot of Patron was not for you. Was not free. Okay, right. As I said, it's not free. And the shot of Patron comes with the entry. As I said, it comes with the entry. 40 USD for a drink in Colombia is wild. Yes, it is. It is. I agree. Again, you pay for the experience. Caesar Blue Hive. Yeah, they charge the foreigners because they figure out. Flyboy, stop this nonsense. Delirium was way overpriced, and because Americans made it that way, no other charge. Again, it's an experience, y'all. Patron. It costs them again. I understand. It costs Delirium money to have people go there. A lot of people are not going to take a cab to Delirium. It costs a lot of money for them to have shuttles to bring you from the clock tower to Delirium. It costs a lot of money for them to have paid whoever they had to pay to get that section of town where they could do exactly what they do there. So you got to understand that Delirium has a cost. Now, are they still making bank? Yeah, of course. But it's a business. RA said he ain't lying. It's not even $40 a drink in Phoenix. Yeah, it's crazy. Black man's guide in real life. Yeah, it's crazy. Drop the link. RD is, I don't know. I like RD, yo. RD was when I was I could only go on my experience, y'all. I was there for 48 hours. I went to RD one time, and it was Saturday night, and RD was lit. It was lit. Again, if you check out Mentuition video, you'll see how clear it was. But man, it was lit. And my girl found a lesbian there. I just left early. I shouldn't have left early. But anyway, key importance, I can't do it. No clubs for me unless we in group. I can feel you. Caesar says, yeah, they messed the vibe up and everything. Used to be free to get in. C Spills. Shout out to Mentuition in the building, y'all. Make sure you subscribe to their channel. I like to ball on the budget. Battles at the room. Delirium, forces you to buy drinks and bottles is cheaper than. Yes. Now I don't know if they force you, Renzo, but if you continue to buy single drinks instead of buying a bottle, you will spend more money than you plan to. I met a guy who said he spent $1,500 because he couldn't get a section. He got there late. Now, mind you, if you want a section, you got to get the Delirium at like 11 o'clock. But the guy said he got there late and he couldn't get a section, so he just kept buying like drinks for people and buying bottles, and he said he spent almost $1,500. I'm guessing he was exaggerating, but I think he spent at least $1,000. Because I can imagine $40 times 10 drinks is $400. And then if you say, you know what, I'm gonna buy a bottle next, now you up there. So I mean, King Crap says they charging to get. No, they don't. Well, I don't know. I can't tell you if they charge. I think they don't charge. I can't tell you if they charging because I went in with Mentuition, and Mentuition had all the connections. We walked in. They knew Mentuition. They just let us in and let us ride easy. So I can't say if they charge, but I don't think they charge. Card canceled the next morning. All right, y'all. All right, so I'm going to take 10 minutes. It's 9:17 now. At 9:30, we're going to be on the Flyboy Live, and we're going to get to the real get to. If you haven't subscribed to the Flyboy Live channel, you might want to do that now, because for the Flyboy Live channel, we are going to get to stuff. I'm going to make sure I start off saying it's not for promotion, but we're going to get to the stuff that a lot of you guys are asking, and we're going to still have to say it in a certain way. So don't ask any crazy questions like, but we're going to still have to say things in a certain way on the Flyboy Way channel. Shout out to Mentuition says there's no charge for Delirium. But when we're on the Flyboy Live channel, y'all, I'm allowing you guys to ask questions. Don't spam the chat, but we're going to have to ask it in a certain way, and I'm going to respond in a certain way. And if you can't get it after the first time I respond, I'll try to do it another way. But if you can't get it after the second time, you're going to have to hit me up on Instagram to get the details. But I appreciate everybody for joining me on this live, man. 6 years, y'all. 6 years I had not been in shoot, my fault. Yeah, 6 years I had not been in Cartagena. And this is my experience when I went back. Again, I had an amazing time. The people were super nice. Hollywood Beach, man, I can't wait to get talk to that. I really like Hollywood Beach. Not only because of what it was, but because of the vibe that it brought. But I also did like Delirium. I just didn't like the fact that if you don't have a section in Delirium, your time is going to be. No, you know what? We'll get more into that on the next on the Flyboy Live, because I gotta go more into detail on that. I appreciate you guys for joining the live. It's your boy FRE $H Fresh at the Flyboy Way. That's TheFLYBOYWAY. Don't ask why. Just check out the channel. If you haven't already, we'll be on the Flyboy Live channel at 9:30. That's 10 minutes Eastern Standard Time. So you might want to check on that channel, because we're going to have a nice conversation. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace. CTG.